Guys, welcome back to Minty, and today we'll be doing Classifying Organisms, Part 2, Animal Kingdom, and this is based on the CSEC biology syllabus. Our first group we're looking at is Porifera or the sponge. These organisms, as the name suggests, have multiple pores, Porifera. As you can see in the picture depicted, there are multiple small holes that we call pores. They are also stationary, meaning they do not move, and have multiple cells. They also live in the sea. The next group is the sea Lanterates that have an umbrella-shaped body. They also have a ring of tentacles around the mouth and live in water. An example of a sea Lanterate is a jellyfish. The platyhelminths or the flatworm, as the name suggests, flat. They have flat, long, unsegmented bodies and are found in the fresh waters. They can be parasitic, meaning harming other organisms. An example is a tapeworm. As you can see in this picture, this worm almost looks like a long stream of tape. So you see how flat and long it is? Nematodes have elongated, round, unsegmented bodies with pointed ends. Most are parasitic. As you can see in the picture, it's very long and has a pointy end at each side. Annelids, also called segmented worms, have elongated bodies as well. Most are in the water and some are in the soil. An excellent example is the earthworm. Mollusks. These have moist, soft, unsegmented bodies divided into a head, a muscular foot, and a hump. Many have shells. An example is snails, slugs, and octopuses. Echinoderms. They have spiny bodies and a 5-part pattern body. For example, starfish. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 parts. The next group are arthropods, and these have jointed legs and hard waterproof skeletons. We can further divide arthropods into various groups. Crustaceans, where there are several pairs of legs, 4 antennae, and a calcium carbonate exoskeleton. For example, crab, lobster, shrimp. So most sea lovers love crustaceans. Insects is the next group of arthropods. They have 3 pairs of legs, which is the same thing as 6 legs, 2 pairs of wings or 4 wings, and 2 antennae. An example are cockroaches, grasshoppers, and moths. Arachnids. Arachnids have 4 pairs of legs, no antennae, and an example are ticks, scorpions, and spiders. So a lot of people are afraid of this group, arachnids, particularly spiders and scorpions. The last group of arthropods, myriapods, many pairs of legs. So M in myriapods for many pairs of legs, 2 antennae, and they have elongated bodies which are divided into segments. An example is a centipede, which means 100 legs, and millipede meaning 1,000 legs. The next group in the animal kingdom that we'll look at are the craniates or vertebrates. They have a well-developed brain, in a cranium, a backbone, and internal skeleton of bone and cartilage. The first group we'll look at are the fish. Fish have scales on their skin, gills for respiration, fins for swimming, and they lay eggs that develop in water. Amphibians. Amphibians have soft, moist, non-waterproof skin without scales, meaning that the water is able to pass through their skin. They also lay eggs in water. When they're at the youngest stage, they're called larvae or tadpoles. and they tend to inhabit water, while the adults live on land. An example of an amphibian is a frog or a toad. Reptiles. Reptiles have dry, waterproof skin with scales. They have lungs, and most are on land. Example are lizards, snakes, turtles. The next group we'll look at are birds. Birds have a beak and feathers. They are warm-blooded and lay eggs in a nest. They also have forelimbs as wings that allow for them to fly. An example of a bird is a sparrow. Now, the last group of craniates or vertebrates that we'll look at are mammals. Mammals have waterproof skin with hair and sweat glands. They have teeth and are warm-blooded. An example of a mammal are humans, cats, and whales. Yes, whales are actually mammals. Most people tend to think that whales fall under fish, but they're actually mammals because they're warm-blooded. Hi guys, so we're gonna do a quick Q&A SpongeBob SquarePants edition. So I'm gonna be showing you guys characters from the show SpongeBob SquarePants, and you are going to name the group of animal that the character belongs to. You can pause the video to write down your answer. So SpongeBob SquarePants is actually a porifera. He is a sponge. So he has multiple pores on his body, as you can see. However, poriferas are actually stationary. So SpongeBob SquarePants is a bit of an anomaly. And he also lives in the sea. So these jellyfish that we actually see chanting belong to the group Lanterates. And as you can recall, Lanterates have a bag or umbrella shaped body, and they have tentacles around their mouth, and they live in the water. And jellyfish is just one example of a Lanterate. So this organism, which seems to be terrifying Squidward right now, is actually a flatworm. And as you can see, it's fairly long. It has a flat, unsegmented body, and they live in the fresh water. And as we said, many are parasitic. So he looks like he's actually out to harm Squidward. So the next group that we have are nematodes. So nematodes tend to have pointier ends than we see in SpongeBob's depiction, but they are also known to be parasitic, and look at them just eating up that boat. Wow. So this is an example of a nematode. Alright, the popular Gary the snail. What group does he belong to? So Gary actually belongs to the mollusk because he's a snail. And we know that the mollusks, they have soft, moist, unsegmented bodies. They have a head, a muscular foot, and they also have a hump. Many have shells, right? They also have shells. So Gary is actually a mollusk. So the next character we have is Patrick Starr, and I gave a bit of a hint in his name, Starr. So remember, the starfish belongs to the echinoderm family, and they tend to have a 5-part pattern body. So Patrick Starr is actually a starfish, and that belongs to the echinoderm family. So we have the miserable Squidward. Squidward. Once again, the clue is in his name. Squidward is actually a squid, and he belongs to the mollusk family. And as we said, the mollusk family, they tend to have a soft, moist, unsegmented body. They have a head, muscular foot, and a hump. An octopus actually belong to the mollusk family. So even though he doesn't have a shell, he still belongs to the mollusk family. Mr. Crab. So Mr. Crab is a crustacean, and as we said, crustaceans, they have an exoskeleton containing calcium carbonate that makes them very hard on the outside. They tend to have a head and a thorax, often covered by a shield, and their body is divided into three parts: the head, thorax, and the abdomen. So Mr. Crab is a crustacean. Larry the lobster. Larry the lobster is also a crustacean. Uh-oh, so somebody came some fried fish. So this group of animal is actually just the fish. So remember, fish, they have scales, gills for breathing, fins for swimming, and they live in the water. So we have Sandy the squirrel. Sandy is a mammal, so she's warm-blooded and has different types of teeth. Also waterproof skin with hair and sweat glands. And that's why you see that Sandy is actually in a whole spacesuit, because she's waterproof skin and she cannot breathe underwater. So most mammals tend to live on land. However, you have a few that live in the water, for example, whales. I think I gave it away. Pearl. Pearl is a mammal. She's a whale. So whales fall under the group of mammals. So comment your score so I can see how well you guys did. Like this video if you found it helpful, share with a friend, and subscribe to Minty so I can continue to make these videos for you guys. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you in the next video.